All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully you all can hear me this morning, and hopefully everybody's doing well. Thank you for joining us in the central breakout session, the formal central region, I did air quotes here. We're super excited to have you join us today. Hopefully you've been enjoying the seminar so far, and we've got lots of good things planned for you today. So we're super excited about that. My name is Kenya Moon, and I am a retail food specialist here at FDA. I'll be your moderator for this morning's session. So I'm glad to see all of you, because hopefully next year we'll be in person, but we got to do what we got to do now. Now, without further delay, I would like to introduce our first speaker for the morning, Ms. Kimberly Destromp. Kim is a branch director here at FDA's Office of State Cooperative Programs, Division of Retail Food Protection. So Kim, the floor is yours, or should I say screen? It's all yours.
Screen is all mine. Thank you, Kenya. And welcome everybody to the Central Breakout. It is such an honor to be invited to participate in this event. I'm very excited to talk to all of you. As Kenya mentioned, my name is Kimberly Destromp, and I am a branch director with the Office of State Cooperative Programs, Division of Retail Food Protection. And OSCP, what we call our office, is best recognized through the work of our retail food specialists, who are liaisons to all of our state, local, tribal, and territorial jurisdictions across the country. Now, when the pandemic hit, we had to suspend all field work, all travel to protect the health and safety of our employees. And we have learned so much about doing things in a 100% remote virtual environment. It's been a ride, I will just say that. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing over the last 18 months and what we're working on for the future. Next slide, please. So just briefly, I'm going to be talking about who we are, what our office does, what we do, how we've been adapting in these very strange times, and what the road ahead looks like for us. Next slide, please. So when I think about our office, the Office of State Cooperative Programs, these are the three things that come to mind. We are all about working in partnership and collaborating with stakeholders, both internally and externally. And in addition, since we have such a limited number of staff, we heavily rely on the multiplier effect. And you heard, if you were on the call, on the meeting yesterday, you heard Tim Weiner talking about the multiplier effect from the Office of State Cooperative Programs. And this really is what we consider to have the greatest impact to achieve our mission. It's providing a smaller group of people with the information, the tools, and the skills to further distribute to those who need it, so we can multiply our efforts. We consider it a small but mighty effort. Some of the great examples of the multiplier effect are standardization program. You know, we cannot standardize the thousands and thousands of SLTT employees out there, but we know that we can standardize certain people who can then go on to standardize their staff, and et cetera. Our training courses, you know, we can provide the tools and the skills to help you deliver training to your staff. Program standards is a great example. Many opportunities for the multiplier effect in there, as well as the phenomenal mentorship program that NICHO manages. So those are just some of the great examples. Next slide, please. So this is a breakdown of what our office looks like. It's a very interesting office. We operate with a team management model, meaning even though we have separate divisions, we have a division for retail, one for shellfish, and one for milk, our leadership team meets weekly to discuss cross-cutting issues, share strategies, look at how we're doing things, and see what we can come up with best practices for everybody. As you'll see in the retail, we do have, our retail division is large. It's one of the larger ones within our office. We're currently hiring for our division director. John Marcello is currently in that position right now. And we have 3 branches, and the 3 of us as the branch directors meet weekly as well to discuss issues that impact the entire division. Even though there's 3 branches, we really work collectively as a national team. And I also just want to mention, you'll see Miss Kenya's name at the very top, right below Lori Farmer, who is our leader. Kenya's been doing a phenomenal job as the acting special assistant, and I know she is very busy these days. Next slide, please. And this is our phenomenal team. You'll recognize some of the faces there. I just have to say that the specialists are the linchpin of our division. They're the engine behind what we do. And I have never worked with a more committed, hardworking, dedicated group of professionals in my career. And I do have to say that I may be biased, although I don't think I am. I think they are some of the smartest people in our agency. And I started my career in FDA in the field, and then I came to OTED. Many of you I've worked with on OTED retail training courses, and that's how I first got to interact with the specialists. And they're the reason why I wanted to come to the Office of State Cooperative Programs. It is hard to find so many people that are able to communicate challenging, difficult scientific topics in a way that anyone can understand. And they do such a great job. And I am just so blessed that I get to work with them every single day. We were fortunate over the last year to be able to hire 5 new specialists to our team. And I'm very excited about them. I hope some of you have gotten to interact with some of the new specialists. Many of you already know Greg Abel, Kenya Moon, Tom Nerney, and Valerie Pratap Singh. I am excited to introduce Carolyn White, who will be assisting Illinois and Indiana. She's hailing from Kansas City, Missouri. And I also want to mention that John Tran, who many of you know working with Michigan, will now be covering Ohio and also West Virginia. And Becky Steiner, who has been working with some of our Southwest states, will be helping and assisting Kentucky going forward. So welcoming all of them. And of course, as you all know, Mike Nordis will now be working with Wisconsin. Next slide, please. So at full staff, we have 27 specialists. Right now, we are at 23. So we too, as most of you are a bit short-staffed. We are actively working to continue hiring to get to full staff. As you know, the federal government operates at a snail's pace with some of these things, but it is our goal to continuously hire to maximize our staff as best as possible. As soon as the fates or budgets align, whichever comes first. And as you can see, we also are actively hiring for our division director position. All right, next slide, please. So one thing I do want to touch on, oh, sorry, can you go back one? There we go, thank you. The National Food Team is comprised of 4 components, as you know. We have our office, the Office of Training, SIFSAN, and the Office of Partnerships. Over the last 2 years, we have worked extensively to put together a 5-year operational plan. I just want to show you kind of overall, there's a lot of words on this slide. I'm not going to read them to you, but our primary goal as a national team is to reduce the occurrence of foodborne illness risk factors in retail food establishments. You know, we sought extensive stakeholder feedback, both internal and external, to develop our plan. It was really a collective effort of all different stakeholders. And I just want to mention that there's the 3 primary goals here, or the objectives you can see in the colorful boxes on the screen. The first one is really about our focus with the SLTT programs. That is a primary objective, as is we want to focus on industry. So the second box there is promoting industry active managerial control and food safety culture, which is huge, as you all know. And then the third one, of course, is maintaining our own internal strength, making sure that our team has the exemplary technical experience and ability to help our stakeholders. So this is a huge undertaking that we did. We're really excited about it. It means that all 4 of us are working in such strength and concerted effort. It's going to make a huge difference for our program. I'm very excited about it. Next slide, please. All right. And so I just want to mention too that our strategic plan, along with the efforts underway by the Retail Food Safety Regulatory Association Collaborative, our industry partnerships, are all in alignment with agency's new era for smarter food safety. This is intentional, concerted effort to work proactively and collaboratively across the agency. We're doing away with the days of working in silos and having separate agendas. This is very cross-cutting. It's very exciting. We're working with all of our partners. And we have a lot of touch points. Our work at OCP really interacts with the new era's new business models and retail modernization of core element 3, and also the food safety culture of core element 4. They're directly aligned with our technical assistance. and our efforts underway with our SLTTs and industry. Next slide, please. And what a time, might I say, to be working in retail food safety. I remember the days where food delivery was pizza and that's it. And now you can have, I don't even know, a 7-course cook to order fine dining experience ordered by app, delivered to your door by drone with a pop-up chef that comes out to do tableside flambe. Okay, that might be an exaggeration, but you get my point. Things are changing rapidly, and we need to be there when things change as well. Right now, what's going on in retail, it's really unimaginable. If you think back, like even 10 years ago, it's exciting, but it also makes a regulator's head spin. It truly is a revolution, as Frank Yanis is often heard saying. We may be seeing more changes in the next 10 years than we've seen in the past 30 or 40. And what we know about foodborne illness pathogens is they're already on the train. We know that they're going to be evolving as we evolve, so we need to keep up the pace. One of the things, of course, we need to do is, next slide, advancing with technology. And this one always kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because I do work for the federal government. So we tend to be a few paces behind the rest of the industry when it comes to technology. I used to live in Canada when I was in college, and I would always joke with my Canadian friends about how the music that was in Canada was always about 15 years behind where the US was in terms of music. That's kind of how I feel about the federal government when it comes to technology sometimes, but I am happy to report that we now have full Zoom and Microsoft Teams capabilities. It was a year after the rest of the world when the pandemic hit, but we're there, and I think we're going to try to keep up. So I'm very excited about that. I do want to mention that we are continuing to address training needs. I know that that is a huge need. High turnover has always been a challenge in the retail world. And now with the current employment situation, it's just been made worse. And so, coupled with that, with the evolving food production, we know the need is huge. We are excited to be working with OTED again this year to deliver 100% virtual courses throughout the year. Registration is now open. So if you're interested in doing any of those virtual retail courses, please go ahead and register. You can reach out to your specialist if you need more information. We're also really excited to be partnering with our associations to deliver educational sessions and meetings virtually, just like this one, which is, I am so impressed with the work that AFTA has done with our specialists to deliver this virtual seminar. This is really phenomenal. So we're going to continue doing those types of things as well. Next slide, please. And of course, I must talk about the flexible funding model because this is such a game changer for us and hopefully for you as well. The portal is open, so please, if you have any interest in getting grants to further your program, our specialists are on call to answer your questions. Neha has people at the ready to help you get into the system to apply. This funding has it's really unprecedented. We've never had so much money for the retail program before, $40 million over the next 3 years. We're really hoping this can be a game changer for your programs. We've heard over and over that one of the limitations or one of the challenges with program standards is there's not enough money. There's not enough money to participate, to make progress. This hopefully will provide that money in order to make the progress that your jurisdictions need, that your programs need. And like I said, if you have any interest, it can be small, it can be big. We're happy to talk to you about what you can do. So please reach out if you are interested. Next slide, please. All right, so some of you remember or maybe have attended one of our self-assessment verification audit workshops. We try to do these a couple times a year. This course really is a great way, a great not only introduction to the program standards if you're new, but trying to learn more or get a deeper dive, but also if you're going to be auditing to get more information about the best practices. It's been very popular. I think every course that we've been offered has sold out. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in this area. Next slide, please. All right. Was there one before this one? Sorry. This one. Okay, you can go back. Sorry, back one more. All right. There we go. Okay, so the self-assessment verification audit workshop, we are planning 2 face-to-face in 2022. I just want to mention this because we plan to continue to offer face-to-face courses, assuming we can do so safely. So right now we're looking at in Spokane, Washington before the NEHA AAC, which I believe is in July, and then also in February, hopefully in the southeast of the country, considering Charlotte or Tampa. I think the location is still being finalized. So if this is something you're interested in, please reach out to your specialist and you can certainly ask questions. These face-to-face workshops are eligible to get funding through our grant portal, if that's something you're interested in. So you'll just have to see if you're eligible to apply for grants to attend a course. A great opportunity. I cannot speak highly enough about this course. Next slide, please. There we go. Okay. And this is a really exciting development. I am actually really excited about this one. We know that this particular self-assessment verification audit course it's much needed. And we know that not everyone can get to a face-to-face offering for a lot of different reasons, whether you can dedicate an entire week, whether you have the funds. So we are really excited about partnering with OTED and NEHA to develop an online self-paced self-assessment verification course. This is going to be huge. I've seen a few snippets here of what they're developing, and it's going to be, I hope it's going to be a game changer for those of you that need more program standards information, or you just want a refresher of specific standards that you're working on without going through the entire course, or you want to get more information that's very particular to your jurisdiction. We're hoping to have this available in the next year. And the best part is it's going to be available for free for all regulators on OTED's learning management system. So just like you take any of the other online courses through OTED, this one will be an option for you as well. As long as you're a regulator, you have access to it. And so that's going to be really great. I'm excited to see this come forward. Okay, next slide, please. Our national risk factor study. So I do want to briefly mention, you all hopefully heard the presentation yesterday on the national risk factor study Delhi data results from 2015 to 2016. I just want to mention that presentation or presentations on that topic are available to be given by your specialist. So if that is something you're interested for a meeting or a seminar and you want that data presented, reach out to your specialist and they can help you out with that. And I also want to say that we are going to be starting the next round of our Delhi data collection. And when I say next round, I really mean the continuation of the Delhi data collection we started in in 2020. We were put on pause when everything shut down, and we hope to pick that up at the end of this year and into next year to finish that Delhi collection to kind of stay on track for our 10-year study. So you may in the future be hearing from a specialist reaching out to let you know that they're going to be going to facilities to do a data collection. All right. And next slide, please. Okay, the best part of the entire presentation. There are a few people I want to give some kudos to. First, I do want to mention, many of you know one of our specialists, Chris Moore, who covered most recently Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and West Virginia, did retire as of August 31st after 27 years of service. She's leaving big shoes to fill, and we'll all miss her dedication and passion for the retail program. But I promise you, she worked so hard right up until her last day to ensure that the specialists taking over her states and her jurisdictions would hit the ground running and provide them as much information. And I know many of you, she had meetings set up to meet the new specialists that were covering your states and your jurisdictions. So I promise you that there will be no lack of customer service or support for you. But I do want to recognize Chris's longstanding service to the agency. I also want to give a huge shout out to the City of Milwaukee Health Department. As many of you know, in the great state of Wisconsin, in the city of Milwaukee, we were to host the Democratic National Convention last year. Even though this event was canceled at the 11th hour, the work that the City of Milwaukee put into the planning and preparation along with FTA was second to none and of critical importance. So thank you, City of Milwaukee Health Department. I also want to give a shout out to Vineland City Health Department in New Jersey. Vineland, as many of you know, has been a long-standing supporter of the program standards and a huge successful organization. They mentored 4 jurisdictions during the 10th cohort of the NACHA mentorship program and providing their extensive experience and assistance to their mentees. And I just want to give you kudos for the work that you do, Vineland. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize Ms. Heather Sanders, who was newly promoted as the Retail Food Program Specialist in the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and gave an excellent presentation yesterday. And Ms. Stephanie Smith, who is the newly promoted Chief of the Food Safety Policy and Programs in Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. Both of them participated in the mentorship program this year and conducted a risk factor study in Pennsylvania, which you heard about yesterday. So kudos to both of you. I also want to congratulate Mr. John Osborne, who is the new administrator for the South Dakota Department of Health, Office of Health Protection. A great big welcome and congratulations on your new role, Mr. Osborne. And Mr. Daniel Bell, who is the new Food Safety Manager in the Kentucky Department of Public Health and the Food Safety Branch, stepping into the leading role there. And I look forward to working with you and congratulations on your new role. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention Ms. Rebecca Vaught of the Michigan Department of Agriculture, elected CFP chair for the next biennium. I can say, and I think I speak for many people, we are looking forward to congratulating you in person in Houston in 2 years. And just a big thank you and shout out to all of you who participated in CFP this year. There were 11 council members or alternatives from the central states split amongst all 3 councils. Great job, anyone. It was a fantastic experience and thank you. And with that, unless there are any questions, I will turn it back to our moderator. Thank you all.